Heartland fans, get ready because everything is about to change. Just when we thought we had come to terms with the past, the series throws us the ultimate curveball. In a moment that will, the man who stole our hearts and shaped the soul of Heartland is back, and his shocking reappearance is set to shake the entire ranch to its core. This isn't just another episode, it's a turning point that redefines the legacy of the entire series. You won't believe how it all unfolds. This episode is nothing short of an emotional masterpiece, a whirlwind of heartbreak, hope, joy, and long-awaited healing that hits straight to the heart. It's the kind of episode Heartland fans have been dreaming of for years. But the biggest question of all, how does Borden return? What mysterious chain of events led to his disappearance who never truly stopped loving him? And perhaps even more gripping, how do Amy, Lindy, Jack, Lou, Georgie, and Tim react when the man they thought they had lost forever suddenly walks back into their lives? In this in-depth breakdown, we'll guide you through every powerful moment. The barn beams still echo with the sound of his boots. The fields whisper the stories of rides they once shared. Even the silence in the house feels like it's waiting for him. And then, the moment comes. A shadow in the distance. A familiar voice. And suddenly, everything changes. As Amy finishes grooming the horse, Lindy, now older, runs up to her, full of energy and innocence. "Mommy, are you okay?" she asks, her wide eyes filled with curiosity. Amy forces a smile, brushing a strand of hair from her daughter's face. "Of course, sweetheart. Just thinking." But Jack, watching from the porch with his weathered hands wrapped around a chipped coffee mug, knows better than anyone what's truly going on behind Amy's calm exterior. He's seen the strength she's put on for Lindy, the quiet courage she's shown every single day since Ty was taken from them. But he also sees what others miss, the haunted look in her eyes when no one's watching, the lingering silence in her voice when she speaks his name. Jack, the steady rock of Heartland, understands more than most. Some wounds don't scar over. They stay open, quietly aching, forever. As the sun dips below the hills, painting the sky in hues of burnt orange and gold, Amy stands near the paddock, a deep sigh escaping her lips. She doesn't know it yet, but this peaceful evening marks the last moment of life as she's known it. Everything is about to shift. The first sign comes quietly, like a whisper from the past. It's early morning, the ranch still wrapped in mist, and Amy steps onto the porch cradling a warm cup of coffee. The air is cool, the world still, but something feels off. That's when she notices a single envelope, resting gently on the porch railing. At first glance, she assumes it's a note from Lou or maybe a reminder from one of the ranch hands. But then her eyes land on the handwriting. Her breath catches. The script is unmistakable, slanted, familiar, almost frozen in time. Her hands tremble as she reaches for it, her pulse quickening. She tears the envelope open with shaking fingers, heart pounding in her chest. The letter inside is brief, but every word lands like a thunderclap. "Amy, if you're reading this, it means I finally found a way to come home. I never died. I was forced to disappear to protect you and Lindy. I can't explain everything yet, but I need you to trust me. I'm coming home." Time stops. The mug slips from Amy's hand, shattering against the wooden porch with a sharp crack that echoes through the still morning air, but she doesn't move. She doesn't even blink. Her body is frozen, her mind racing, her heart thundering in her chest like a wild horse let loose. The letter trembles in her hands as her eyes remain locked on the words, unable to look away, unable to believe what she's just read. Tears spill freely down her cheeks, hot and silent, blurring the ink on the page. She reads it once, then again, and again. Her lips move silently, repeating the message as if the repetition will make it real, will somehow make it stick. Disbelief, hope, shock, longing, confusion, joy. Every emotion she thought she'd buried comes flooding back with an intensity that nearly knocks her breath away. Her chest rises and falls in shallow gasps as she clutches the letter closer to her heart, the paper crinkling beneath her tightening grip. For years, she carried the weight of Ty's death like a stone around her neck. Every sunrise without him, every family dinner where his absence was louder than any voice. Every night she watched Lindy sleep, silently wishing her father could be there to kiss her goodnight. Amy survived by holding on to his memory every smile, every whispered promise, every ride they ever shared. But now, with just a few handwritten words, that reality is turned upside down. Everything she believed, the final goodbye, the heartbreak, the quiet acceptance, it all dissolves in an instant. He's alive. Somewhere out there, Ty is alive. The letter doesn't explain how. It doesn't say where. But it doesn't have to. Because in that moment, Amy knows her world is no longer defined by loss. It's been cracked open by the possibility of a second chance. And nothing, absolutely nothing, will ever be the same again. Could it really be? Is he truly alive? That one letter, resting quietly in the morning light, changes everything. Still shaking, she rushes inside to find Jack. When she hands him the letter, her voice cracks. It's him, Jack. Ty is alive. Jack takes the letter and reads it slowly, his hands trembling. His usually stoic face softens, and for a moment, he is speechless. Then, in a rare display of raw emotion, he smiles, a small but undeniable sign of hope. "We need to get the ranch ready," he says. "He's coming home." Amy knows she must tell the rest of the family, but she struggles to find the words. The first person she confides in is Lou, who is in the kitchen making breakfast. Amy silently hands her the letter, her eyes brimming with tears. Lou reads it, and the moment she understands what it means, her entire body tenses. This isn't possible," she whispers. But then reality sinks in, and she lets out a shaky breath before throwing her arms around Amy. "This is the best news I've ever heard," she says, sobbing into her sister's shoulder. Ever the meticulous planner, Lou's mind immediately shifts into overdrive the moment she hears the news. The letter hasn't even been fully processed, but she's already mentally organizing a welcome home gathering, envisioning a warm, heartfelt celebration with familiar faces, home-cooked meals, and the entire ranch lit up in Ty's honor. She wants everything to be perfect for his return, as if perfection could somehow make up for all the years he was gone. But behind her determined smile and rapid-fire questions lies a quiet, gnawing fear. She paces the kitchen late into the evening, rereading the letter, analyzing every word. Is this real? Could this possibly be true? Her heart dares to believe, but her mind struggles to catch up. What if it's a mistake? What if it's a cruel trick? Or worse, what if the Ty who returns isn't the Ty they remember? Still, hope refuses to be silenced. It burns in her chest, fragile but fierce. When Georgie hears the news, the world around her seems to stop. The words hit her like a wave. Ty's alive, and for a moment, she can't even breathe. The initial shock is quickly followed by a surge of joy, raw and overwhelming. But underneath that joy is something deeper, something unresolved, a grief that never fully healed. Ty wasn't just family. He was her guide, her compass, the one person who saw her potential before she even saw it herself. He believed in her when others only saw a rebellious teenager with a troubled past. Without saying a word, Georgie rushes to her room, her emotions too big to contain. She flings open a drawer and pulls out an old, slightly faded photograph, her and Ty, side by side, smiling after a writing lesson years ago. Her fingers trace the edges of the photo as tears well in her eyes. Sitting on, Jack steps forward and pulls Ty into a hug, his strong arms holding him tightly. It's brief but powerful, a moment of acknowledgement, of forgiveness, of love. When Jack finally lets go, he clears his throat and wipes at his eye, as if brushing away some dust. "You've got a lot of explaining to do, kid," he mutters before turning toward the house. But there's a small smile on his face, one that hasn't been there in a very long time. Lou has always been the one to take charge, voice trembling. Ty turns to her, offering a small, hesitant smile. "Lo," he says, as if acknowledging the storm of emotions she must be feeling. And just like that, Lou bursts into tears. She covers her mouth with her hands, shaking her head as if she still can't believe this is real. Then, before she can stop herself, she sobs against his shoulder. "You absolute idiot. Do you have any idea what you put us through?" Ty lets her cry, lets her hit his chest lightly with her fists, before finally pulling back. Her eyes, still filled with tears, search his face for answers. "How could you let us fully recovered from that pain?" Now, standing just a few feet away from him, Georgie feels like the ground beneath her is unsteady. She doesn't rush to hug him like the others. Instead, she just stares at him, her hands clenched into fists at her sides. Her heart is pounding so hard she can barely hear anything else. "You were supposed to be dead," she finally says, her voice breaking. "I mourned you, Ty. I grieved for you." Ty steps forward, guilt flashing across his face. "Georgie, I never wanted to leave you," he says gently. I'm here now," he says softly, "and I'm not going anywhere again." For a moment, Georgie just looks at him, unsure whether she can believe those words. But then all the pain, all the years of missing him come rushing out, and she throws herself into his arms, sobbing. "You better not," she whispers. Tim Fleming has always been a tough guy. He doesn't show emotions easily, and he doesn't trust people lightly. Losing Ty hit him harder than he ever let on, because deep down, he had come to respect him. Next time, keep flying high with us.